Moiraine leads the four villagers to safety, unsure which one is from the prophecy. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve from Valhartv, and today I'll be reviewing The Wheel of Time, Episode 2. So this episode starts out with the White Cloaks, or the Children of the Light, and their leader, Aemon Velda. Now, this man, we get an impression of him right off the bat, as we see that he has one of the Aes Sedai, I keep mispronouncing that, I apologize, burned to death with satisfaction on his face. I mean, this guy is somebody to watch out for, as he's putting a ring onto a chain of rings as a trophy for him killing these magic wielding women. So this is really a little he's just kind of a sick guy when he's keeping trophies of his kills. He's really ruthless in this. That's just the impression I got from this guy. I was like, wait, what? And then we cut back to Moiraine and the rest of the gang finding a ford to cross, because the Trollocs are afraid of deep water, so they won't cross it. They have to find a different way. And this is where we actually get a glimpse of what Moiraine is willing to do for her mission, and what she's willing to do to get these kids to the White Tower. We see that she is a little ruthless herself in this, as she destroys the ferry, but the ferryman decides to try to stop her, and so this really was a good scene in this episode. And this leaves an impression on the kids, too. Like, they're like, wait, she's willing to go this far? And so they really kind of start questioning her a little bit, and they're all kind of afraid of what's going to happen to them. And I can't blame them, I really can't blame them, because watching this woman who's like, I'm going to get you to safety, but you got to do what I say, but then she's like, well, I'm just going to do this so we don't have any, so these guys can't follow us right away. And they're like, wait, what? You can't even, yeah, so this was really good. This was a really good part. And this episode, honestly, really slows down after that. It really slows down and delivers some really compelling high fantasy material in this, too. So this episode was definitely a step up from last episode. The chase through Shadar Logoth was honestly brilliant. It was really good. I absolutely loved it. Like this scene where they get to the city. It's a huge walled-in city that the inhabitants built the walls to basically shut people out, to the Trollocs and the Evil One's army out. And something happened to them. So we get this really good, mysterious city that is just uninhabited. And we end up getting to see why later on, too. But this whole thing was really good. And it establishes some beautiful shots of this decrepit city and the landscape around as the episode goes on, too. And we end up getting to see a scale as they journey towards the White Tower, so we get the scale of this world, too, in this episode. So I really like how they slowed it down enough to actually let us catch up, take a breather, and get more of the story and more of the landscape in this. So we really get some good shots in this, too. And as we continue, we do get to know the kids more. We get to know Moiraine a little bit, but she's kind of out of commission for this episode because she got wounded. And apparently she's not able to heal herself. They have to find somebody else to do it. And it really comes down to the kids. Now, Matt is the one who stands out in this episode a little more, because he's the type of guy, like we saw in episode 1, where he doesn't do what he's told. When Lane says, don't touch anything, this dude literally follows a shadow type thing to something that he touches and he's not supposed to, and it's really like, man, really? It's like, you got told that this city is dangerous and you're going to go touch something that you're not supposed to touch. And I think that's what triggers the chase sequence, is when he picks up this dagger, basically. And we also get to see that Perrin isn't telling anybody that he's hurt. Moiraine, before she got, before she came incapacitated, she could have helped heal him, but he's keeping this a secret for some reason. I don't really understand why. And he limps, but then he doesn't limp. Then he limps, but he doesn't limp. I mean, at this point where they showed his leg, this dude should be limping like big time. He shouldn't even be able to walk. But yet he's walking around like it's nothing. So I think they really kind of need to work on that, because when you're that badly off from being hurt and you're not telling anybody, I mean, at this point, I'm not sure what's going on with him. But somebody's got to figure out there's something wrong with him before it's too late, because it's going to be. And then this episode ends up ending with someone unexpected returning. And they surprise Lan. And I actually thought that was really good. And that's exactly where they end this off. So this was kind of a pretty neat cliffhanger, you know. And again, the effects in this were more practical effects than anything. And but I really like everything that happened in Shadar Logoth. The whole city scene was fantastic, where you get to see everything looks just run down, decrepit, like nobody's been there for hundreds of years or whatever it's been. I think it's 400 years, I want to say, maybe. So, yeah, this place has been abandoned for a long time, and nobody wants to go into it. And you really kind of get a sense of why throughout the chase scene. And everybody gets, gets away in this, but there are consequences to what happened. So I thought this was really good with the sense of urgency it built, with the shadows kind of chasing everybody. Thought that was really good. Again, it is still a tough call to say who the standout is, even though we get a standout part from Matt in this. But it's more of him just being kind of dumb and making a stupid decision that has consequences to it. So the acting I thought was fine, though, throughout about all of this. So, but it's still, nobody's standing out just yet. And I hope that we get some standout moments from each of these characters going forward, because they kind of really need it. They really need to build these characters up a little bit better, because they're not as charismatic as they could be. But this is only the second episode, so I'm not gonna judge anybody so far. So this episode, again, slows down a little bit to get us a little more backstory on the characters, a little bit more, get to know the characters as well, a little bit more establishment of the world, the scale of the world, what's going on in it. So I really like that part. Again, we see Matt make a dumb decision that has real consequences that he still isn't grasping at this time, I don't think. So we'll get this. Well, hopefully we'll figure out what's going to happen in next episode. I would honestly go ahead and give this at least a 7.5, up to an 8 at the most out of 10. I'm going to stick with 7.5 out of 10. This was actually a really good episode, really good world building, some good high fantasy elements to it. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down below, please. And if you guys like what I do, hit the like button and subscribe. Take care for now, everyone.